Hi everyone, Vin here from No Nonsense Whisky. I am down in the Welsh countryside again for my annual holiday down this way, and I've come down to In The Welsh Wind again. You might have seen my video last year. Last year we talked about the process. This year I am buying a cask, a wee 30-litre cask, which I'll go through with Alex shortly, and we'll get some filling done and talk a little bit about what we've done. And of course, you know, it's open to anybody, so people can do this thing whenever they want. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy the video, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hello everyone, we're here with Alex at the In The Welsh Wind Distillery, and today, as you might have seen on some of the B-roll so far, I've purchased a cask which should hopefully be ready in about 3 years. We'll see when it's ready. It's
that's
ready.
Going to be your choice. So I think a series of tastings as we get through that, definitely one a year.
Excellent.
And somewhere between year 3 and 4, you'll pull a sample and you'll think to yourself, do you know what, that's where I want it to be. And then, you know, we'll have this discussion about it going into the bottles.
Okay.
Probably, you know, high 30s. In terms of bottle numbers, but that'll be your choice. If it's cask strength, you know, what are we thinking here? 3 years in the barrel, some angel share, you know, and some general evaporation.
Yeah.
That'll see some of the liquid volume reduced and also some of the ABV lost. But you strike me as somebody who might want it at cask strength.
Possibly, yeah, if it works at cask strength, but that's one of the cool things about it, right? Because that's my choice. We get to choose the bottling strength, which is cool. I like that. We've got an STR cask down there, did you say? A red wine cask?
So that's a shaved, toasted and recoopered small cask barrel. So this would have started its life actually as Quercus alba, American oak, from probably a Kentucky distillery, so it's had a bourbon in it, and as we all know, the majority of those barrels then, after their single usage, go to Scotland, to, you know, whichever distillery you want to pick a name out of the hat for, you know, hugely popular, in fact an integral part of the Scottish whisky making process. But these are done for us actually by Spey Cooperage. So they take that bourbon barrel, which is about 200 litres, split out the staves and knock out the barrel ends, and then scrape out the insides, just take away a little of the material from the previous usage, cooper it back into a little 30, and then toast or char it to whatever requirements the new owner wants. And in our case, it's definitely not a toast, it is a char. We just ran our finger around the inside of the barrel, didn't we? The barrel mouth.
It was like black. I should have kept it on my finger, but it was black.
Yeah, sure. So I think what that's going to do over a 3-year period is add some great colour, viscosity, and all of those caramel and toffee notes, and great flavours that we come to expect from a small barrel.
So for those people who didn't watch the video last year where I came here to visit and just talk about the process, can you talk us through the how your kind of green grain vibes that you're going through? Yeah? Oh
sure. Well, you know, as you can probably see yourself, we've got a field in front of our distillery here. I describe that as just over an acre, and that's our experimental crop of barley, with the rest of our grain being grown by our local young farmers, actually young farming community within 10 miles of the distillery. So it's left for approximately 6 weeks at low moisture, put into 1-ton bags, and then as we require it, they genuinely bring it on a tractor and trailer for us, as we require it, which at the moment is a 1-ton bag to go in our 5,000 litre still. So our process is steeping over 3 days. We're blowing air through a large stainless steel steep tank, and draining the waters off, adding new water. This is tricking the grain into thinking that it's spring and it's in the ground. Then it's spread on our malt floor, and again we're in a really good position here. We just look down, you know, from the mezzanine, and we can see that at the moment we've got 1 ton of barley on the floor, germinating and doing its thing. And for this part of the process, nature really does know what it's doing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we've steeped it, It's taken on some moisture. The grains have become plump, and they're now growing little rootlets and an aquaspire. And it's approximately 3-4 plus days on the floor now in that malting process. But we don't kiln it. So I think this is going to be the most interesting thing for people to get their head around. So instead of biscuity, toasty and oaty flavours, we're getting fresh lychee, melon, fresh grass, a really different flavour profile from the resulting new make spirit. Reason for that is we're a small space, we're a small distillery, and to build, and we wanted to be grain to glass and have this grain to glass category. That was really important to us. But trying to put a kilning plant or a kilning operation into the business would have been hugely expensive and so on and so on. So, we were discussing earlier, actually, by proxy, the flavour profile of our whiskey, our Welsh whiskey now, comes from deciding to just remove that part of the process. So the green grain that's malted on the floor goes through a mincer, a processor, and actually at that point it smells like ripe bananas and unbaked cake, and it's full of alpha and beta amylase and all of the natural ingredients that it needs to be a fermentable product, a fermentable ingredient. So at that point it's processed. We mash in at 2 different strike temperatures directly into our still. And this is, the other thing that might be different, for your viewers. We're mashing, fermenting and distilling on the grain. So the grain stays in our still throughout all of this process. I think that's what might just set us apart from other people. Might take a little bit of time for people to get their head around the idea of that. But think in the States, when making bourbon, they might have a mash bill of 3 or 4 different things: corn, rye, wheat. But the majority of that is probably done on the grain also. That's what gives it that really big, juicy flavour, and I think that's what we're going for here.
Awesome, yeah, no, it's awesome. So we've cast at 63.5.
Yeah, 63.5.
It comes off the still. I was just trying some before, about 88% sometimes, and it goes down.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And again, third and final interesting part of our process, we're able to make whiskey using a single distillation. Yeah. So it's coming through a column, and we're able to take really specific cut points. So, we're collecting data at the moment through a number of distillations, and we hit a sweet spot where we're able to cut away the heads and the foreshots. They go for recycling. We take a slither from the heart of the distillation, and that's the good stuff. That's the stuff that we want to put in the barrel. And then, of course, we run the tails down all the way down to 0. Combine that with the heads, and it goes into our next distillation. But the sweet spot, that area in the middle, produced with a single distillation, means we use less power. We're on a borehole here, so we've got oodles and oodles of good Welsh water for the rest of this process. So we feel the impact environmentally and so on. Benefits from on the grain, single distillation, and using a borehole.
I guess the final thing to say is, obviously I've bought this cask, but how would anyone else go about looking at it as well? You've got a few casks still available?
Absolutely, yeah. Getting onto our website and taking a look at the whiskey, area of the site. We've actually set up a couple of interesting things here that allow you to choose a cask. Something we'll talk to you about as well, choosing a seasoning if you want to add some additional flavour to a cask, and actually how you might like to pay for it. So a one-off payment, or we've got a gateway on there that will allow you to pay monthly over 15 months. It's really opening up whiskey to being available in smaller sizes, manageable bottle numbers, manageable payment methods, allowing people that perhaps otherwise wouldn't look at a 200 litre barrel unless it was for an investment. Yeah. Because I'm not entirely sure what you do with 200 litres of whiskey. Well, I'm sure
we'd give it a good go.
We'd give it a good go, wouldn't we? But the idea with the 30 is this is going to give you, let's say, high numbers in the 30s, 36, 37 bottles at the end of this process, which is enough to keep one for Christmas, one for retirement, give some to friends, and and so on and so on. And perhaps even float 1 or 2 bottles onto the whiskey market. You know, instead of thinking of casks and cask selling and cask investment, you know, being able to put a bottle out or, you know, sell to friends and family, you know, makes it a really interesting experience and more accessible to more people.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much for helping me out today and letting me fill this cask, because that's been an awesome experience. And it's a very open door here as well. I've noticed today. I've been here for a couple of hours and people have just been coming in and just getting tours just straight from the off. You know, it's a very open house down here. You can pretty much just come in and walk around the still.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, we're distilling weekly, we're malting, mashing, you know, weekly in the whiskey side of the business. And for anybody else that might feel encouraged to come and see us or check out the website, you know, you'll be really well received, and you know, we hope you take this Welsh whiskey journey with us.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
Come on, man.
Alright, that's me done. I've now bought a cask. That's going to be maturing away for 3 years minimum. You know, if it's not ready, it's not ready, and we'll sort of follow that journey as we go along. So make sure you stick around on the channel, and I'll be doing sort of hopefully an annual update at least, see how that's maturing along, and that will of course be available to the discerning viewer when it's finally released. But yeah, keep on touch. There's going to be at least 3 years from now, so we're going to be waiting a little bit. But look at that, look, just a reminder that it's all grown here. Some of it's down the road as well, but this is about an acre odd and it's grown here. Awesome stuff. Catch you again on more videos.